First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, and we do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shah, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Shema Yasharala Yahweh, Allahayanahu Yahweh Achad.
Here is our Lord, guys, Lord.
Khan. Hey, this is a series, and it's part 2 of strife. Strife in the family, strife in the household, strife amongst brethren, strife amongst Akwatium, okay? We're going on strife because it's the works of the flesh. Alright? And it is. And everybody got to understand how to stay in the spirit, especially in these last days. You can't work iniquity. You can't say that the Most High hates the sin but loves the man and loves the woman. The Most High hated all workers of iniquity. And He don't want to see you in your flesh. And He ain't saving no wicked people, man. He's saving the 12 tribes of Israel. Alright? The 144 and the 1/3. Alright? That's what He's going to save. And if you want to be of the elect or the 1/3, Lord willing, you need to understand how to stay in the spirit and stay out of the flesh. Learn how to stay in the spirit and stay out of the flesh. Right now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go into some. Matter of fact, I'm not. Check this out. I just gave you an example in Genesis 37 about Joseph and his brothers and how the contention started with the love of the father showing more favoritism for the younger son and not the other brothers. He loved his sons and gave them inheritance and land. He did all the above. And then I wanted to go and show you some things in, what was that, Galatians 5, the works of the Spirit and everything else, and the fruits of the Spirit and everything else. I did that. So I want to go to the last precept that I went to before I came off, because it's very important to understand the actions that are going to be going on in the house amongst man and woman and amongst the children. You got to be able to detect these things. And you got to notice them. And the men, the man in the house, you got to attack it. You got to get it while it's there. You can't just let it just simmer. You can't let things simmer. You got to see what's going on with them. You got to nip everything in the bud, okay? So get that for me if you don't mind. Proverbs 20 and 5.
This is Proverbs chapter 20, verse 5. Counsel in the heart of a man is like deep water.
Counsel in the heart of a man is like deep water. It's, you know, we can go deep, we can stay shallow. But counsel is deep. Say that again, Baba Kusha.
Counsel in the heart of a man is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw out.
We can draw out the understanding because of much study and much study through the scriptures that we find out how to do things. And the Most High shows us these things, okay? And the Most High, He's a wonderful Father. And my big bro, Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Christ the King, He will be King, and He reign King, man. And we usher in His kingdom in. All right, that's what we're doing. All right, read.
Verse 6. Most men will proclaim every one his own goodness, but a faithful man who can find.
So, when he was talking about a man of understanding will draw it out, you got to teach all the kids in the house, that's the fruits of the Spirit, to how to draw things out. All right? Because if that young man is just meddling, and what we went to in Proverbs 20 and 3 and 4, when he starts to meddle, or that female starts to bicker and be petty and starts to meddle the husband, he has to draw that out. When the daughter is meddling against the mother-in-law, she's got to pick that out. All right? In the house, when people just start meddling and being contentious with one another, you got to pick it out. You got to draw it out, man. You can't get into your flesh. Y'all, everybody got to pay attention to what you're doing. Okay? You got to do these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on. And I'm going to go to Proverbs 6 and 16. All right? Give me that. Because once you realize that meddling, and you got to see these certain actions on people, okay? That proud look that they give, all right? Like, I ain't doing nothing, or they just, or, you know, they laughing, they just meddling and being wicked, man, all right? But the Most High hate a lot of things. And, hey, the Most High does hate. Read that.
Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16. These 6 things doeth the Lord hate.
Yeah. What? Say that again.
These 6 things doeth the Lord hate.
These 6 things doeth the Lord hate. Read.
Yea, 7 are an abomination unto Him. A proud look, a lying tongue.
What? I didn't do that, Mama. Come on. I didn't do that. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Yes, you did. Read.
That shed innocent blood. and heart that deceiveth wicked imagination.
Deviseth wicked imagination. All right, deviseth, this is planned out imagination in your mind. You plant that wickedness out, and you started to meddle. That daughter does that because Hashatan jumps on him. You got to recognize when the Satan's in the room. That's why your kids can't be idle. When your wife at home, she can't be idle either. Nobody in the household should be idle, doing nothing. You should either be in the Most High's word, or you should just be occupied in something that's occupying your time. All right? Read.
Come on, verse 18. And heart that devises wicked imaginations, feet that be swift to run into mischief.
Just quick to run into trouble, just running into trouble, running into walls, back, all the time. You always know that one person that's going to do it all the time. Pay attention to them, but don't forget about everybody else. Because that's when Hashatan jumps on them. Okay? And that's when that young lady and the wife in their mind thinking that you're not paying attention to them. And they're going to try to get attention by all means necessary. Works of the flesh, man. Read.
Come, a false witness that speaketh lies, and him that soweth discord among brethren.
A false witness, he hates these things. He hates a proud look and a lying tongue. All right? And hands that shed innocent blood. All right? A heart that devises wicked imagination and feet that be swift and running into mischief. Just causing trouble. You just causing trouble all the time, man. I got a bond that went to school. Hey, 9 times out of 10, it wasn't his fault. But at the same time, those other kids they just like to run into mischief. And at the same time, he likes to run into mischief because he didn't know how to control his tongue. But along the way, he learned to control his tongue. And he's getting very good at it. That's because I pay attention. All right? And I bring the rod of correction. Remember that. Read.
My son, keep thy father's commandment, and forsake not the law of thy mother.
That's right. And forsake not the law of thy mother. We're talking about her right now. Wisdom. That feminine spirit. Don't forsake the law of your mother, man. But that spirit belongs to the Most High. He gives that effeminate spirit. That's that wisdom. All right? And what is wisdom? Wisdom, when you bring from the root word, is science. Science means to know. To know means knowledge. Knowledge means wisdom, understanding, and discernment. All right? You got to have science of yourself. You got to have science in your household and science of your kids, some of your daughter and your wife, and you got to pay attention to these things, okay? So, was that it?
That was the first.
Oh, was that it? Was that 20?
Yeah.
Kind of. That's what's up. So, the thing about that, so we got you to understand and pay attention to the family structure and to the kids and not be respective person and love more and show more attention to them. And we showed you the strife, right? Because this is all about strife and the contention and how it happens. And then I went to the meddling and how, you got to pay attention to which person in the household is going to meddle who. All right? You got to pay attention to that. So now we got to understand what happens when meddling starts. Is it just a silent treatment meddling? Is it just like got tape over their mouth and they just... A lot of things are going to be said, right? Yes, a lot of things are going to be said. Give me James 3:1. And you gotta control your tongue. That's the thing. That's what's going to happen. It's the tongue. So let's get that. Matter of fact, start at 3. James 3:3. Bible Kusha.
James chapter 3 verse 3. Behold, we put bitties in the arm.
It's bites.
Oh God. Behold, we put bites in the horses' mouths, that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body.
So that bite, that bite that be in the horse's mouth when they be, be going, boom, boom, and they can turn them each way. All right, that bite that's in the mouth, that's the Most High. Read. I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna show you. Remember the bite that's in the horse's mouth. Read.
Behold, also the ships which though they be so great and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm.
Just like their bites, but would turn with a very small helm. Read.
Whithersoever the governor lieth.
Exactly. That governor that's in the mouth of the horse, in that realm, it turns it every which way it wants it to go. Right? Read.
Even so, the tongue is a little member, and boasted
Oh,
great.
verse 6.
My verse.
Oh, so like five.
Verse
So
5. So the tongue is a little member,
even so, the tongue is a little member. Read.
and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth.
So he was just giving you an understanding that thing that's inside the horse's mouth, and that thing that turns the ship is the same thing your tongue do. It turns everything upside down, fire this and that. That's it's just
Just like just how that bite has that like good control of that horse, your tongue can control a lot of things.
What was that?
The saddle?
No,
saddles
talking about
which
bites.
goes on the
You
back.
can look it on your phone. Bite the bites that's in a horse's mouth. All right, he was just giving you a metaphor of what the tongue does and how it turns everything upside down, and it controls everything. All right, read.
And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue amongst our amongst of iniquity.
Start from the top.
And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue amongst our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell.
So check this out. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue amongst our members. This tongue is amongst our members, right? Our arms, right? Our body and everything else. A tongue amongst our members. Not people outside, but a tongue amongst our members. Watch this. That it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature. What's the course of nature? This arm has to grow, right? It can set on fire. What can it set on fire? What can that tongue set on fire? The course of nature. Exactly. You can get your damn arm chopped off. Am I right or wrong? Yes, you can get shot. That tongue causes a lot of mischief. It really does. That tongue it's put many people down, all right? Strife builds up. Hold on, let me get jump to verse 7.
7. For every kind of beast, and of birds, and of serpents, and things in the sea is tamed, and hath been tamed of mankind.
So you gotta tame that tongue. You gotta be able to tame it. And that's when you in your flesh when you can't tame your tongue. That's what's going on. You can't tame that tongue because you're in your flesh. And you gotta be able to tame that tongue. Because if you don't tame that tongue, then what? It can set on fire a lot of things. You can hurt somebody with your tongue that you never thought the pain that you can give somebody is with that tongue. You can hurt somebody with that tongue, man. I'm sorry, my words are just crackling up. Salakia, okay? But you can hurt a lot of people with that tongue. That's your flesh, man. That's not the spirit. That's not of the Most High, man. You in your flesh. You gotta tame it. You gotta control that tongue, man. Stop letting it turn you every which way. You gotta control your tongue. You gotta control your spirit within. You got a spirit, but this spirit, raise that spirit up. This spirit bears witness with our spirit that we the people of this book. We'll get to that in another video. All right, read.
God. Verse 9.
I thought it was verse 8.
Okay, so like verse 8. But the tongue can no man tame. It is unruly evil, full of deadly poison.
It is poisonous, man. It'll cause somebody to die. That tongue, your tongue will cause somebody to die. You can cause somebody to kill themselves, shoot themselves, take a lot of pills. It's poison. You gotta tame your tongue. And that's what happens in that household, in that strife. And it builds up because that tongue will turn that ship around. That ship is metaphorically speaking about the other person. It'll turn them around and a fire be set off in that house. And that's what happens. That's when Hashatan jumps on everybody. Because you're not taming that tongue. You're in your flesh and you're not in the spirit and you're not paying attention to Hashatan jumping on everybody. And we all been guilty of it, but you gotta tame it and you gotta work at it, man. This is work. This is work, and the Most High gonna test you. You gotta know. Everybody in your house gotta know a Hashatan in there jumping on there so they can stay in the spirit, man.
God.
All right, read.
Verse 10. Out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and cursing.
Out of the same mouth proceeded blessings and cursings. And how those blessings come? When you tame your tongue. How those curses come? When you let it set fire. Read.
Out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and cursing, my brethren.
Out of the what?
Out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and cursing, my brethren. These things ought not so to be.
Come on, man. These things is just ought not so to be. Man, the tongue is insane. So, what happens when that tongue is set on fire? What happens? Wrath. Wrath comes. Wrath is there. All right? Give me Proverbs 15 and 1. Bible Kusha.
Proverbs chapter 15 verse 1.
Right?
A soft answer turneth away wrath.
Can I say that again?
A soft answer turneth away wrath.
So it said a blessing and a curse. That tongue can bring a blessing. All right? So read that again.
A soft answer turneth away wrath,
Mm-hmm.
but grievous words stir up anger.
That soft answer turneth away wrath. That person within self can wrath at the same time. But his soft answer or her soft answer can turn away her or his wrath from that person. Just, hey man, just chill out. All right. I understand you going through your moves right now. You want to play. You want to do this. I got you. I understand you, bro. Little bro, big bro. Just give me some time and I got you. A soft answer turn away wrath, but answer them because you got to know what they're doing and what they want, man. It's just you got to. All right.
Verse 5.
15 and 1.
Yeah, let's get to verse 5.
Go ahead.
Verse 5. A fool despiseth his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent.
He that respecteth correction is prudent. Prudent means cautious. Read that again.
Come on, verse 5. A fool despiseth his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent.
Regardeth in the Hebrew means shamar. Shamar, right? It means to observe. A fool despises his father's instruction, but he that regardeth, he that observe to watch for, right? Regardeth reproof. He observes correction. He observes his father's correction. All right, read that again.
Come on. Proverbs chapter 15 verse 5. A fool despiseth his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent.
He that observes correction is prudent. He is cautious for what's going on. So you got to pay attention to these things, man. That's why you got to regard your father's instruction. When he said do something, you just got to do it and know that it's for you. It's for the best for you. It's for the best, man. And that's and watch this. Give me give me Proverbs 15 and 6 real quick.
Verse 6.
I gotta give the yin and the yang real quick. Read.
In the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble.
Revenues.
It's like it. Verse 6. In the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble.
In the revenues of the wicked, revenues can be stock. Revenues can be things that you get with your lips, like, you know, how you talk to people and the things that you get. Your different revenues, you know what I'm saying? All right, read that again, Bible Kusha.
Come. Verse 6. In the house of the righteous is much treasure.
In the house of the righteous is much treasures. And that's what we're trying to get is salvation. We want the kingdom. So everybody got to work for it, man. It's work. It's work, man. You know, it's just work at the end of the day. But it's worth it. It's very so much worth it. We work hard for this every day, man. We are every week at week, class, Shabbat services, teaching the sheep, you know, going out and try to get the sheep into the fold. We're going out to try to find that one sheep that went astray. We want him to get in here. That's what we want. That's what we're working for. And that's why we make these videos, is to do that, all right? So give me Proverbs 15 and 18 real quick.
Proverbs chapter 15 verse 18. A wrathful man stirred up strife.
A wrathful man stirred up strife. A wrathful man, I'm looking at it. A wrathful man stirred up strife. But you got to understand, my son, is his mind is hot. He got something wrong with his spirit, man. He's in his flesh. He doesn't know how to stay in the spirit. A wrathful man stirreth up strife. Read.
But he that is slow to anger, passeth strife.
Say it again.
He that is slow to anger, passeth strife.
He that is slow to anger
Appeaseth.
strife.
Appeaseth.
That's what he does. He appeases it, man. It's like it don't bother him, man. You know, that's why that soft answer comes. Don't make you a punk. Don't make you a bitch, man. It just makes you a very smart and prudent man to understand that and find out what's going on. All right, but I'm gonna give you something to this real quick. Give me Proverbs 15:31.
Proverbs chapter 15,
Because when it's talking about the reproof of your father, this is why. Read.
verse 31.
Uh-huh.
The ear that heareth the reproof of life
Uh-huh.
abideth among the wise.
And that's what you want to be, among the wise. You want to be among them. Hear the reproof of the wise, man. Hear the correction of them. You know, learn to take correction. All right, so you can understand not to strife and not to be in your flesh. So with this, man, I'm just gonna push the video number 3 because y'all not ready.